Structure is the backbone of any good screenplay. It is what holds your story together. It is what helps you get a tangible story. It helps your plot flow, it helps your pacing, it helps you know where to impute suspense, it helps you know how you're developing your characters and everything. You know, in the first class, I told you to come up with three ideas. Yes, we are working with one, and you came up with three ideas. I am very sure of that. And now in the second class, I told you to write a major dramatic question for that's your idea, right? You've done that. So in this class, we'll be talking about how to use the 3-act structure and the 8-act structure to develop that story. This is what we'll be talking about in a moment. The 3-act structure is actually based on what they call the rule of three. That everything that has a beginning must have a middle and must have an ending. And it's also what we see in life, you know, when you're born, you live and you die, or morning, afternoon, night. That is the principle in which the 3-act structure is based on. I know I'm talking acts, but we are not talking stage plays. I know there is act 1, scene 1, act 2, scene 2, act 3, scene 3 in stage plays. Yes, I know, but just focus on the fact that we are talking about screenplay for film and for television. That's what we're talking about. For the 3-act structure, experts will always tell you that your act 1 should have 30 pages, your act 2 60 pages, your act 3 30 pages. And this is because of the general notion, or I would say the standard, the industry standard, that a screenplay contains 120 pages, and each page of screenplay is equal to 1 minute of screen time. So you see it, that's 120 minutes, which is 2 hours. That's just the standard. So what they are saying in essence is that your first 30 minutes of your screenplay should have your act 1, the second 60 pages of your screenplay should have your act 2, and the third 30 minutes of your screenplay should have your act 3. And for the 3-act structure, it is believed that the first 10 pages of your screenplay should have a lead-in, your introduction, introduce your MDQ to us, introduce your main character to us. We want to see a peek into his goal. What is he pursuing? What question will he answer at the end of the day? All those things, your first 10 pages should be able to like answer it. Then from the next 20 pages should be an inciting incident. Then your act 2 should contain a setup and a playing out of the conflict. The conflict is what the inciting incident in plot 1 is leading to or has led to. So we see you staging it, you setting it up, you're playing it out. Then by the midpoint of your act 2, we see an escalation of the point of the conflict to the beginning of the act 3, which would be the resolution, how you want it to resolve, how you want your main character to achieve their goal, how you want them probably to catch a criminal or anything. Now let's just take this particular idea. The thing just came up my head now. Let's take for instance that there is somebody, a policeman, your main character is a policeman, and he's on vacation with his wife somewhere, and he gets a call. He's probably, the vacation is okay, he wants to like get back with his wife, make up with his wife. He has not been there. He loves his job and he has not been there for his wife. So he wants to get back to his wife, but he doesn't want to lose his job. You understand? So that what is the major dramatic question here? What is the major dramatic question? I want you to leave the answer in the comments or in the Telegram group. And I even want us to continue the exposition of this particular idea in the Telegram group. Now let's go on. Okay, he wants to make up with his wife, make up time, lost time with his wife, and also keep his career. So he's on vacation with his wife and he gets a call from the office. Probably he's the head of the terrorist unit, and they tell him, sir, there is a case, a terrorist, we are tracing him, and we want you to come back in and handle this case and head this investigation or whatever. And he's trying to tell his wife that, okay, honey, look at what came up and everything. And the wife, and there's something that happened in that vacation, and she goes like, okay, since you want to focus on your career and you keep neglecting me, I keep getting the back space in your career, there is no problem, go, go, go. You understand? And he at that point is even thinking, okay, I love my wife, I love my job. You see the conflict? That's an internal conflict. That's a need. The need is coming up now. I love my wife. I love my job. What should I do? So he now wants to, he's having that conflict. Now he wants to forego his job for his wife and say, okay, I could probably, when we relocate to another country, I could easily get a job. But my wife, I love my wife. She's been there for me and everything. And yes, I'm not stereotyping, but sometimes during arguments with loved ones, my gender, we tend to be very emotional. So probably another thing now happens, and the wife uses words that were out of self control. And he said, okay, fuck it, I'm gone. And he leaves, goes to take the job, and leaves the wife there. Goes to take the job, goes to continue with the investigation and everything. Now, remember that the wife is there in the plot one. Now, he goes back, he set up his team, they are investigating, tracing the terrorists, they are tracing him back to back, and probably in his office there is an insider that is feeding the terrorists with an information that, okay, look at the person that is in charge, that is heading the investigation team, look at the person. So they meet a lot of potholes, let me put it that way, that why can't we catch this person, why can't we catch this person, you understand? So he takes a non-official route and gets to get the person. Probably at the midpoint of the story, he catches the criminal, the terrorist, is in a bar with his friends. And probably the wife in plot one comes back into town, and since she and her the husband, they are not in talking terms, and he's been trying to reach the husband or whatever, so the wife and her friends, they went for a girls night out in that same bar. And he and his team, they come for a raid in that bar. And because the terrorist has information about the lead investigator's family and everything, he holds the wife. After the shootout and everything, the guy must have lost some men. Yes, it's still part of the plot point and the conflict. He must have lost some men. And they took the wife hostage and escaped out of that place. Now, we are now going to the third point. Will he get his wife? Will he get the terrorists? Will he still keep his job? Now, as we are resolving the act 3, probably his superiors will be like, don't worry, we'll take official routes, we'll bring backups from whatever countries, whatever, we'll make sure that we get your wife and everything. And he's like, these people, my wife, my life, no. So he takes another approach, a different methodological approach to getting and routing out the terrorists. He does his thing, gets back his wife, and also catches the terrorist alive. You've resolved it. You understand? So that is how the 3-act structure plays out. So you know that, okay, in this act 1, even if my first 30 pages, these and these are what it will contain. In my act 2, I divide my act 2 into 2. That's 25 pages, 25 pages. I set up my conflicts. I'm playing out my conflicts. I'll have a midpoint of my conflict. Then I'll escalate my conflict in the next 25 pages. Then in the last 30 pages of the screenplay, which is act 3, I'll play it out. So that is what the 3-act structure is all about. It helps you structure your screenplay so that you don't lose flow and you don't lose pacing. That is what it helps you. And there are some persons that are outliners. There are some persons that they have to outline. Like me, I outline, and I'm also a pantser, depending on my mood. But there are some persons that they must outline before they write. Then there are some persons that it's in their head. They are pantsers. They are writing. So they still follow this same structure. And like I said in the first 2 classes, when we talk about the major dramatic question, what are the wants? The wants are the external. In this idea that I gave out now, the want is we want to catch the terrorist. His need, which is internal, is he wants to make up with his wife. So now it is not every time that your main character or your main characters would get their wants and their needs. It is left for you as a storyteller, it is left for you as the blueprint setter to know that, okay, I don't want him to get his wants and his needs. Or I want him to get his wants, I don't want him to get his needs. Or I want him to get his needs, I don't want him to get his wants. Or okay, let him get his wants and his needs. So it is left for you. And for those there, that is what we call the sweet ending of a story. The sweet ending is when your main character or your main characters get their wants and their needs. Then we have the bittersweet. The bittersweet is the main character gets his needs, he does not get his wants. That's the bittersweet. He gets his needs, he does not get his wants. The semi-sweet is when the main character gets his wants, he does not get his needs. He gets his wants, he gets that thing external. Probably he catches the terrorist, but his wife died. Then bittersweet is his wife. He gets the wife, but he catches the terrorist dead. Then that's in the bitter ending is he loses his wife, he doesn't catch the terrorist. So it is left for you as a storyteller, it is left for you, and also probably your producer or anybody that contracted you, is also left for them to say, okay, this is how we want the story to go. Because sometimes when you write for people, you write for a budget, or the budget to get something to be written for them. So that is what you should just get into your consciousness, that as a storyteller, as the one that is writing the story, the blueprint setter, the ventriloquist, the master of the puppets, you have every liberty to choose any kind of ending for your characters. Now, let's go into the 8-act structure. Now, for the 8-act structure, I would say the 8-act structure is more methodical. That's for me, probably because of my statistics background too, because I just love it. I just love the fact that it is more well defined. In the 8-act structure, it is believed that you have to like have this. In the 8-act structure, instead of having 3 points, you have 8 points that you're working with, 8 acts, and those 8 acts make 15 pages each. Each act has 15 pages. Like when you're introducing, you're setting up, 15 pages. And why I like the 8-act structure is that every story in the 8-act structure can stand alone, can stand like alone, just stand on its own as a full story. You can have an 8-act structure, a screenplay written with 8-act structure, and just turn it into a web series. And after every point that an act ends, there will be a cliffhanger. That's why I like 8-act structure, because I know that the series that I've written, because 8-act structure is basically good for people that write episodic series, probably TV series, rom-coms, web series, you understand? Because you have to like pull your people in, pull your audience in, pull your viewers in, let them know that, okay, you heighten their excitement, their interest to see the next episode. You add your cliffhangers. So that is how the 8-act structure works. Now let's go through the 8-act structure together. For the first point, the first act, you're doing your introduction, you're setting it up. We are seeing your main character, or your main characters, you're seeing everything that they want to do. You're introducing your MDQ here too. Everything, we're saying it. And now remember that I said at every point, you're adding a cliffhanger. At the end of every point, you're adding a cliffhanger. So now, what cliffhanger would you add that will make somebody wants to like, okay, let's watch the next 15 minutes or the next 15 pages that will show us the inciting incident? You understand? So that's why I said the story is not flat. The story is not okay. In fact, if you use the 8-act structure, it would be hard for somebody to fast forward the movie. it will be very difficult. What are you fast forwarding? You want to see every bit of the story. You want to know, okay, why did the dialogue change? Why did he say this? Why did he say that? It's not flat. It's not just let's go, let's be going, okay, let's be going. No, no, no. It is very interesting. Now, for the act 2 in the 8-act structure, you're introducing the inciting incidents. You're introducing the call to adventure. It is when your main character becomes conflicted. Oh, should I do it? Should I not do it? Probably the person is in denial or anything. Then let's add another cliffhanger and raise the stake and see, okay, the act 3. How are we raising the stake? You are just, as in, you make the tension rise. You make the tension rise. So for the act 4, you are already in the midpoint. So from you raising the stake and the midpoint, you have set up the conflicts, you are playing out the conflicts. So at the midpoint, you are escalating the conflicts. By the time you get to act 5, you are raising the conflicts by 2. Raising the conflicts by 2. Like escalation by 2. That is what the act 6 is. Then we go on to the setbacks. Now, we have seen the escalation of this conflict and everything. And your hero, there has to be a setback. There has to be a loss, something that will make him not to like, because we think, as we are watching, we think that, okay, this plot point has escalated. He will get it, he will not get it, he will get it, he will not get it. And he definitely does not get it. And we struggle with him, we fear with him, we pity for him and everything. I'm like, God. Then you add another cliffhanger to show that, oh, he has a new chance. He has a chance to get what he wants. Now, new tension, new conflicts. You understand? You introduce it. At the end of the day, from that new tension to the resolution, you as the screenwriter, remember I told you earlier the ways you can end a story. It can be bittersweet, it can be semi-sweet, it can be sweet, it can be bitter. So from that new tension to the resolution, it is you as the ventriloquist, you as the master of the puppets, you as the blueprint setter, you as the owner of the story, owner of the idea. You have the liberty to say, okay, the ending, the resolution will be bittersweet, it will be bitter, it will be sweet, or it will be semi-sweet. You have that liberty to play with it, except probably you're writing for somebody, you're writing for a corporation, you're writing for a production company, and they're telling you, okay, this is what we want. Because sometimes when they give you an idea, they will say, okay, we want to write this story to teach this so thing. So you already have that resolution in mind. So however you're doing your conflicts, you're doing your inciting incidents, your midpoint, your tension and everything, however you're introducing those things, you know that, okay, we have a definite resolution. This is what we are trying to teach. You get? So that is just it. You understand? So, but basically, you have that liberty to say, okay, the external wants or the internal needs of my protagonist, he may get it or he may not get it. So for your assignment in this class, you have to watch a movie. Then you have to tell the major dramatic question of that movie. You have to tell us the plot points, the 2 plot points in that movie. Okay, you have to also tell us the inciting incidents, because the inciting incidents have to come before the first plot point. You have to tell us the midpoint and the climax. Just go over this class again. If you have to go over this class, go over the diagrams, go over everything, so that you will be well equipped to watch the story and also analyze it. And we will also continue with the analysis in our Telegram channel.